Hello! Live agad.
Ay! Hello, good evening everyone. Nagulat ako live na agad. Naghihintay pa ako nung alta pressure vacuum Ganun.
Wala nang ganun. Oo, live na agad. Anyways, hello po sa inyong lahat. Kahit wala pa tayong viewers, at least makapagkwentuhan pa tayo dito.
Yes.
Hello po sa lahat
Christmas, kamusta po ang lahat?
Yes. And also, hello sa lahat ng mga tao na nasa iba't ibang panig ng daigdig kasi I'm sure na malapit na yung Christmas, busy na kayo. And alam din namin na mas maganda na ngayon magtanong na kayo ng mga kailangan yung hacks at kung ano-ano pa kasi nga kanina naumpisahan na ako ng tanong. One of the tricky question na natanggap ko, na curious yung pasyente. Bigla siyang talagang nag-wave. Sabi niya, Doktora, may I ask, how did you survive Christmas parties?
So sabi ko, madali naman mag-survive ng Christmas parties. Oo.
Yes.
Kung ako tatanungin mo, since walang Christmas dito, hindi nagse-celebrate ng Christmas dito, malungkot, 'di ba? Walang Christmas dito. Pero may mga Filipino community na nagse-celebrate ng Christmas. Oo, yun nga lang, hindi siya nagfa-fall on the 25th. Kasi ang 25th is Monday, 'di ba? So Monday is a working day here, working day para sa amin dito. Ang weekend namin is Friday and Saturday. So usually ang church dito during Fridays. So parang anticipated mass siya. Kahit na anong religion, Christian and Catholics. Kagandahan lang na here in Oman, open ang mga church. Hindi kami katulad sa ibang Middle East country na walang church. So mayroong church dito. Yun nga lang, anticipated. Tapos, ang celebration, mag-fall sa day off. So, Friday, ang day off, usually, doon nagsa-celebrate ng Christmas. So, anticipated siya. And, lahat meron. Siyempre, Philippine, di ba? Philippine gathering, Filipino gathering. So, lahat ng mula kakanin hanggang lahat ng klase ng pasta, meron. Pero, ang kagandahan naman, lagi naman meron sa Filipino party, hindi nawawala ang chicken. So, marami kasing chicken dito. So, definitely, laging meron chicken. So, meron kang makakain. So, kung generous ka, meron din namang pork, meron dito nabibili. Kaso nga lang, yung price is times 3, times 4. Saka marami na rin mga Filipinos na nag-offer ng lutong pagkain na pork or beef or chicken. So, meron talaga. Pero kung religious ka sa low carb at hindi mo plan mag-indulge, ayaw mo mag-cheat, natatakot ka sa consequences after, then pwede kang magdala ng pagkain na i-share mo and yun lang yung kainin mo. Just stick with that.
I-share mo, kakainin mo lang. Which is yun yung favorite namin gawin ni Doc Mike nung kinwento ko sa'yo.
Common dito ang potluck. Hindi dito uso yung kung sino yung may bahay, siya lang yung maghahanda. So, ganun na yung culture, I think, hindi lang dito, pero sa ibang bansa. Pagka dumalo ka sa bahay ng friend or dun sa host, may bit-bit. Hindi lang puro Sharon.
At some point, mas madali kasi parang minsan lang Christmas party. Which is, dito kasi sa Philippines, kung titignan mo kasi, Doc, parang every day from the second week of December until the Christmas is parang sineselebrate ang Christmas party. Tapos syempre iba yung a-attendan mong party tonight, ibang set of friends na naman on the other day, ibang department na naman. Lalo na kung mga big boss, kung big boss ka, lagi kang invited. Syempre tayo hindi tayo big boss, so wala tayong masyadong invitation.
Wala.
Pero kung big boss ka, talagang maghanda ka kasi lahat yan meron ka pupuntahan. Pero sabi ko nga, kung may lechon, go with the lechon. If walang lechon, go with the meat that has lesser na sauce. Yung pinaka-safest, ganyan. When we say safest, kaya siya safest kasi hindi pa rin siya yung safe. But the safest among all the choices that you can do. So, hello, we have already 47, 48 viewers. This is Doc Fee of AHA by Atentios.
Yeah, and Doc Suzette from my Lookerp MD. Good evening sa inyong lahat dyan sa Philippines. And good day, good morning, good afternoon. Kung nasaang mang party kayo ng mundo na nanonood sa amin. And natapos natin yung series natin ng hypertension and na-discuss din natin all about cholesterol. So, we are opening the floor. Kung meron man silang katanungan, kung meron man hindi naiintindihan, we could repeat yung mga na-discuss natin regarding hypertension, heart disease, and cholesterol. So kung meron kayong gustong itanong, you can ask na.
Yes. Also, di ba, nag-promise din tayo sa kanila na a bit of a recap. Although sabi ko sa'yo kanina, low-key, parang ang hirap pa rin i-compress. But, at least alam ninyo sana na our normal blood pressure is yung nasa taas, which is yung systolic blood pressure is 90 to 120 over 60 to 80. So, for example, 120 yan, pero ang over niya is 90, so that is over more than 80. Ibig sabihin nun, you're already pre-hypertensive or pwedeng nasa hypertension stage 1 ka na. So, always remember, kung hindi nyo matandaan yung stage 1 and stage 2 and pre-hypertension, it's always good to know and best to know the normal value. Kasi pag alam mo yung normal value, anything below it and beyond it is not normal, of course. So, yan, gaya sabi ni Ma'am Maya Rosete. So, 130 over 90, hindi na normal? Yes, hindi na siya normal because our normal blood pressure is, sabi ko nga, yung nasa taas should be 90 to 120 over 60 to 80. So, beyond 190 and beyond 120 and beyond the 80 sa below is already hypertension, and then the low blood pressure is below 90 over 60. So it's 90 over 60 up to 120 over 80. Yun lang yung lagi nyong tatandaan para hindi kayo malilito. And then another thing that you need to understand is there is also such thing as white coat hypertension and mask hypertension. So pag sinabi ninyong white coat hypertension, bagalan ko kasi alam mo naman, the dal-dal in me is shaking. Pag white coat hypertension, ibig sabihin, tumataas lang yung BP ng isang tao kapag nakakakita siya ng any healthcare professional, whether nurse, doktor, midwife, kahit sa health center, o pumupunta siya sa isang clinic. May ibang nagbibipi sa kanya na related sa mga healthcare professional, white coat hypertension yon. Lagi bang ibig sabihin nun, high blood ka na? It depends. Kung kunwari, nasa 140 over 90 lang, pwede pa yung i-investigate sa bahay. Pero kung kunwari, sabihin natin, pagpunta mo sa doktor, once ka pa lang na BP, pero 160 over 100 na agad yung BP mo. Hindi na ho white coat yon dahil kung normal ang BP mo at kabahan ka, hindi pa rin po yan aabot ng 160 over 100. So, definitely, mas malaki yung chance na talagang hypertensive ka na. Meron ding masked hypertension. Ibig sabihin nun, sila yung pag sa clinic, parang ang baba ng BP nila. Yun pala, sa bahay tumataas yung BP. So, paano natin mas mamomonitor yung blood pressure natin? Ang pinaka-way is monitor your blood pressure at home and at the same time, monitor your blood pressure every time you go to the clinic or the nearest health center na meron kayo. And then, napag-usapan din natin about the factors that could affect your blood pressure, meaning, ano ba yung reason bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng hypertension? Ang unang pinaniniwalaan ng mga tao ay genetics. Pero lagi nga nating sinasabi, ang genes, pwedeng lahat tayo may genes, pero hindi ibig sabihin lahat tayo ay maka-high blood o magkakaroon ng high blood. Kasi yung genes natin, kung hindi naman tayo magbibigay ng proper environment para yun ay ma-nourish or mas mag-grow or sila ay mas magpakita, hindi po yun magpapakita. So meaning, ano po talaga yung reason kung bakit lalo tayong nagkakaroon ng hypertension? Kasi may mga wala ding genes. Like family history-wise, wala silang history of hypertension. Pero sila bata pa lang nagkakaroon na ng hypertension. So basically, it's still inflammation and also insulin resistance. So kung gusto nyong balikan yung insulin resistance, meron din po tayo niyan para mas mahimay-himay ninyo. Pero insulin resistance is also one of the biggest factor for developing hypertension because it affects, naaapektuhan nito yung tigas, yung paninigas ng ating ugat, pati pagkapal at pagkapal ng mismong muscle o yung pader ng mga ugat natin. Naapektuhan din nito yung ating kidneys, naapektuhan din nito yung iba pang mga parts natin ng katawan natin na tumutulong para sana mapababa yung ating blood pressure. So, insulin resistance itself has many mechanisms. Ang diniscuss nga lang namin parang 4 o 5, pero it has a lot of mechanisms. And then, we also tackled about pagbabara ng fat, which is yung kinakatakutan ng iba, cholesterol at pagbabara ng fat. At sinasabi natin doon na hindi po ang pagkain ng taba ang dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng pagbabara ng taba. Dahil hindi lang naman taba ang bara na yon, marami pang components yon. At hindi po magbabara ang taba kung walang mas naunang pangyayari, which is yung pagkagasgas, pagkakaroon ng gasgas o damage mismo doon sa linya ng ating ugat. At ano ba nagkukos ng damage doon sa ugat? High blood din. Pag mataas ang blood pressure mo, magagasgas din lalo yung pader ng ugat. Pag diabetic ka, magagasgas din yung pader ng ugat. Pag kumakain tayo ng mga, for example, may mga toxins, anti-nutrients, may mga viral toxins, may mga infections at kung ano-ano pa, pwede rin masira ang ugat. So, mauunang masira ang ugat bago magkaroon ng pagbabara. So, basically, nakakatulong ang cholesterol sa ating katawan. Isa yan sa pinaka kailangan ng katawan natin para magpatuloy, masustain ang life actually. From the moment we were born, from the moment na nandun pa tayo sa sinapupunan ng ating mga magulang, kailangan na natin ng cholesterol to help us develop our brain, our organs. And so, para masustain ng buhay, hindi po tayo masusustain ng low fat. And we have to understand na it is not the cholesterol that is causing all of this. The cholesterol is just helping. But sometimes, when the damage is too much, yung pagtulong ng cholesterol, yun yung reason kaya parang nakakasama. So, nag-stop tayo with that because we want you to understand lang kung hanggang saan yung cause ng hypertension. Balikan nyo lang po lahat. So, first question, Doc Suzette, sabi dito. Good evening po, mga pretty doc. Parang gusto ko nang mag-stop dun sa pretty doc.
Pretty doc?
Gusto ko nang mag-stop doon. Kung hindi ba clean ang low carb, na low carb yung practice, kunwari di mo maiwasan mapakain, lalo pag holidays at may ibang okasyon, is it possible na magka-hypertension agad?
Okay. Remember yung diniscuss natin about the etiology, kung anong mga reason kung bakit nagkakaroon ng hypertension. It is a process. Proseso siya. So, ibig sabihin, hindi biglaan. So, bago mag-develop ng high blood, meron ng mga meron ng underlying na insulin resistance or hyperinsulinemia. So, kailan nagkakaroon ng hyperinsulinemia or insulin resistance? If merong chronic excessive carbohydrate consumption. So, kung ikaw ay nagka-practice ng low carb, kahit na sabihin natin na hindi siya clean, for the sake of definition ng clean na low carb, dapat ang carbohydrate intake mo is less than 50 grams to be kasi 'di ba broad ang low carb. Basically on definition sa libro, theoretically 130 grams is already considered as low carb. Kung ikukumpara natin doon sa nire-recommend sa atin na kainin, which is around 45% ng caloric intake mo, yun yung requirement na sinasabi nila for a carbohydrate intake. So kung nasa 130 ka, Hindi ko alam kung ano yung definition mo dito ng low carb. Pero, if ang pinapractice mo is sabihin natin less than 50, tapos paano ba yung clean? Kung may ginagamit kang mga seasoning na questionable under the low carb, kasi unfortunately, on social media, ang daming definition na sinasabi nila ng clean, dirty, hindi pwede, pwede. So, it depends upon the influencer siguro na sinusundan ninyo or pinapanood ninyo. Broad kasi siya eh. Pero, if ang basis mo ng low carb is eating nutrient-dense food, natural food, at you've been practicing this for like medyo matagal na, hindi lang yung basta 1 month, 2 months lang, tapos nag-cheat ka on a holiday, hindi naman kaagad magkakaroon ng hypertension, but it is a process, but it is not a guarantee. Hindi natin alam kung ano yung estado ng katawan mo. Kasi maraming instances na during Christmas season and post-Christmas season, ito yung mga panahon na nagkakaroon ng maraming admission sa hospital because of heart attack and stroke. And the traditional thinking kasi is kumain ng lechon on Christmas, kumain ng matataba on Christmas and New Year. Pero kung iisipin mo, ano ba ang handa? Lagi bang may lechon? Lagi bang may matataba on Christmas? Ano ba ang hindi nawawala on Christmas? It is the sweets. Kasi lagi namang may dessert, lagi may cake, may ice cream, may pasta, may kakanin, which is hindi yan nawawala. Pwedeng mawala ang meat, usually isang meat lang, chicken or pork na handa, or seafood, yun ang handa. Pero definitely hindi nawawala ang sugar. So, natitrigger. Lalo na kung meron ng underlying na insulin resistance. Kasi, andyan na, kumbaga nakaumang na eh. There is already problem na doon sa blood vessel. May stiffness na. Hindi na siya malukong na siya, matigas na. Tapos, yung kalibre noong blood vessel, hindi na siya malaki, narrow na siya. So, nakaumang na yung mga factors na to. Tapos, kakain pa ng high carb meal on a holiday, so, hindi natin masasabi if it will proceed or not. Pero, yung mga cheats, hindi natin masasabi na it will not proceed on hypertension or beyond hypertension pa. Kasi minsan, madadiagnose na lang siya if there is a stroke or heart attack na hindi na kailangan dumaan on hypertension or diabetes. Nadadiagnose na lang siya once nagkaroon ng emergency at kinailangan dalhin sa hospital.
And to add dyan, gaano ka na ba ka-healed before you cheat? Kasi for example, kung tinatanong mo na, naka-clean low carb practice po ako. Tapos napacheat ako ng holidays. Yung pala clean low carb ka mga 2 weeks ago pa lang. Tapos ngayon mag-cheat ka na. And gaano ka ka-severe or gaano ka kalala yung condition mo before you started low carb, and gaano na kaganda yung naging progress mo before ngayon. Kasi basically, kung nag-uumpisa ka pa lang sa low carb, tapos sobrang lala ng sakit mo, and then kakaumpisa mo pa lang mag-cheat ka na, then yes, may possibility na parang mag-manifest agad yung hypertension kasi at the same time, hindi ka pa talaga healed. Parang nandun pa lang yung katawan mo sa parang ang tawag warm up pa lang kung tutuusin, di ba? And clean low carb has a lot of definition as well, gaya ng sabi ni Doc Suzette. You have to understand that in order for us to have a common knowledge or common understanding, i-define natin kung ano yung clean low carb. Ano ba yung ibig natin sabihin sa clean low carb? Because basically, may clean sa iba na hindi clean sa iba. I guess the clean low carb should be safe low carb. Tanggalin natin yung salitang clean. Let us say, what is the safe low carb for me? Because the safe low carb for me may not be the safe low carb for you. Bakit ko nasabi yon? Because basically, the safest food are, for example, meat. And other foods that you include with your meal could not be safe for everyone. Like, for example, safe sa'yo ang safe sa'yo ang talong, pero hindi safe sa akin. Could be clean, pero hindi nga safe. So, inflammatory siya for some. Pwede pa rin siya mag-induce ng hypertension. Meron akong nakain, high oxalate. Sa iba, hindi sila nagre-react. Ako, hindi siya safe for me. Clean yon by the definition of what is clean. Pero, hindi siya safe. So, pwede pa rin ako magkaroon ng hypertension. So, basically, hindi ko alam yung sagot ko kasi nga, ano ba yung clean low carb na sinasabi ninyo? Hindi ko din siya ma-quantify or ma-qualify. Also, yun yung sinasabi natin na, for example, um, may mga uh, may mga clean na hindi safe and at the same time, ilang beses ka nang nag-cheat or ilang beses na din na nag-indulge ka prior. Parang ganon. So, ang sagot dito is, alamin nyo muna kung okay na yung condition ninyo. Ibig sabihin, if you are confident enough na for the longest time na nagpa-practice ka, your inflammation, kasi balikan nyo lagi yung lesson natin. What is causing hypertension? First, it is inflammation. Kasi yung inflammation, nasisira niya yung ugat mismo. Nasisira niya rin yung, nasisira din niya yung integrity ng ugat. So, number 1 na cause yan. Pangalawa, insulin resistance. So, basically, kung kunwari, inflammatory yung food mo, tapos hindi din healed yung, hindi pa healed yung insulin resistance mo, I don't think na pwede ka na mag-cheat kahit holiday ngayon. Kasi, hindi pa, kumbaga, hindi ka pa safe para makapag-cheat or makapag-indulge. So, yung tanong na to is very broad kasi yung possibility, maraming factors. So, again, uulitin namin ni Doc Suzette, anong factor nito? Gaano ka naka-healed? Ibig sabihin, gaano na napa-improve yung health mo through doing low carb? How long have you been doing low carb? And are you doing the right low carb for you? Those are the questions. So, meron tayong di ba, Doc Suzette, parang motto sa medicine. If in doubt, if in doubt, don't do it. If in doubt, consider it unclean. Motto yan ng lahat ng mga doktor, ng mga nurses. Pag di ka sure, wag mo nang subukan. Pag di ka rin sure, wag mong hawakan. Kung hindi ka sure, hindi mo nakita, hindi safe, wag mo nang galawin. So, yun lang. Simple as that. Kasi kapag inadapt nyo rin yung rule na yon, I guess mas madali yung buhay. Hindi ako sure dito, kinain mo pa rin. Tapos, di ba? Kinain mo pa rin, hindi ka na sure. Tapos pagdating mo sa bahay, sakit ng katawan ko. Mukhang merong,
may something yung kinain ko.
May something yung kinain ko. Kinain mo pa rin kasi, hindi ka na pala sure. So, yan talaga yung mahirap. And then, ano pa to? Sabi dito, yung iba dito is mga testimony na na naging normal dahil sa keto, yung SGPT from 600, now 19 na lang. Salamat daw sa low carb and keto diet. And then, practicing LCIF for the last 3 quarters, mataas ang cholesterol and LDL. What to do po? Please watch our cholesterol cholesterol lecture.
Haba pa naman ang paliwanag ni Jan.
Oo nga. Baka pag sinagot
Episode 2.
Episode 2. Yes. Muna po, para maintindihan nyo po muna yung cholesterol and LDL. Pero to answer it very, very short, we are not just looking at the cholesterol and LDL, sir. We are also looking at how high the HDL is and how low the triglyceride is. So, it will be a bigger picture than just cholesterol and LDL. And I know kung bakit ka takot. Maybe you went to a physician, you showed your result, and the physician saw that your cholesterol is high as well as your LDL. So, you focused lang on the LDL and cholesterol. But, like I said, we are also focused on how high the HDL is at kung gaano kababa rin yung triglyceride niya. Ito magandang tanong. Pag laging may tonsil infection, so tonsillitis or acute tonsillopharyngitis, ano daw ang side effects sa katawan? Wala na po akong tonsil. Tatanggal na. na tonsillectomy na
Lagi ka
kasi ako.
sigurong nag-ice cream ng bata ka.
Hindi lang. Everything I eat is inflammatory. So, I was like, lagi akong may tonsillitis. And then, dumating na sa point na nag-acute suppurative na siya, tapos concealed. Nahirapan silang operahan kasi when they did the tonsillectomy, yung isa sobrang maga, yung isa medyo flat. Pero nung hiniwa, yung isa, kung sino pa yung medyo flat, na-shock sila kasi all medications hindi na nagwo-work. Lahat, naikot-ikot na namin lahat ng antibiotics. Yung pala, sa loob ng tonsil, sobrang ano na siya, Doc, sobrang suppurative na.
Maraming packets ng pus.
Yes. So basically, one of the reason why I also had problems with my heart before is because of this. So what would be the side effects sa katawan if you always have tonsil infection? Pwedeng maapektuhan yung heart because meron tayong tinatawag na kumbaga parang it's like an autoimmune but it's actually your body fighting your tonsil infection pero na didetect din niya na parang kalaban yung muscle ng heart. So, ang tendency, habang nilalabanan niya yung infection, sinisira na rin pala niya yung wall ng ating puso. So, pwedeng maapektuhan yung ating puso. So, yun yung mga cases. And also, same thing, kapag sa kidneys natin, pwede din siya. Pero pinaka most common yung sa heart. So, yung iba na nagkakaroon ng mga rheumatic heart disease, mga ganyan, or nagkakaroon ng mga tawag dito, problem with the muscle of their heart due to tonsillitis. Yun po yung isa sa mga indications bakit siya tinatanggal. I could have saved my tonsils. I could have saved my tonsils, pero hindi ko na na-save kasi it's too late for me to save it dahil na-operahan ako ng tonsils ko. Ano pa ako noon? Intern pa ako, Doc. So, ang tagal na, di ba? Bago ko nakilala si low carb. So, yun.
Oo. Tsaka importante dito yung role ng antibiotics and role ng follow-up. Kasi dapat, treated very well, nako-complete yung cycle ng antibiotics and then nag-follow up. Pero malaking factor din dito kasi yung nutrition natin sa katawan kasi infection siya. So we know na kapag mababa ang ating resistensya, prone tayo na magkaroon ng infection. And kailan ba bumababa ang ating resistensya sa katawan? If we are eating not the proper food, hindi highly nutritious yung mga kinakain nating pagkain, kung mataas siya in sugar. So, imagine, ang karaniwan or ang kadalasan nagkakaroon ng tonsillitis infection is mga bata. So, ano ba ang madalas nating binibigay sa mga bata na pagkain? Usually, matatamis and iba pang mga highly processed food. So, yung nutrition hindi nami-meet ng katawan, mas mababa ang immunity, mababa ang resistensya, then prone into infection. So, yun yung mga kailangang tandaan. Hindi lang basta side effect ng tonsil infection, pero at least alam po ninyo kung ano ang reason kung bakit madalas magkaroon or laging nagkakaroon ng tonsillitis, anong mga factor para at least maiwasan siya. Hindi lang basta yung side effect ng infection.
Yeah. And ito ang next natin, Doc. Sabi niya, good eve, yung husband ko, okay na lahat, health issue niya, like asthma, GERD, prostate, bloating pa, etc. Pero yung BP niya mataas pa rin, 160/100, almost 2 years na kami naka-low carb, 1 year strict low carb, nag-normal na siya noon. Before pandemic. Oo, may word. Parang may encircling tayo dito rin, no?
Ay, noon.
Find the keywords before pandemic, then bumalik ulit kahit uminom na siya ng losartan. Kaya na-depress siya, ayaw na niyang uminom ng gamot, pinagbabaon ko siya ng food, very minimal siya, eat sa labas kasi filled siya minsan lang pag ginabi siya ng uwi. So, the keyword is already there. It's noon.
Noon. Oo. Bakit anyari? Pandemic kasi. Tama ba? Marami nangyari ng pandemic. Ayan. So, isa siguro to sa mga kaso na yon na Mental health, kumain, ayan, bumalik into high carb diet, and then na-induce uli yung hyperinsulinemia, insulin resistance, yung blood vessel hindi pa totally healed, kumapal na naman, tapos na anxiety. Tapos looks like baka hindi na siya responsive on losartan, baka kailangan itaas yung dose or palitan ng medication or mag-add, ganyan. So, ayun. So, definitely, if 160, 100, kailangan natin ng tulong ng gamot. So, consult kayo sa doktor ninyo para at least ma-control muna yung blood pressure with the help of medication. Pero ituloy nyo po yung pagpapabaon sa mister ninyo ng food para at least mas masigurado ninyo na low carb or proper yung nutrition na nakakain ng mister ninyo away from the PUFA, which is commonly nakasama sa mga pagkain if sa labas kumakain because of the cost. Alam naman natin yan. Karamihan sa mga pagkain sa labas, it's niluluto siya with the use of vegetable oil. And malaking factor din ang PUFA on insulin resistance kasi kung meron ng presence ng insulin resistance dati, tapos magdadagdag ka pa uli ng high carb plus karaniwan na may kasama na PUFA or polyunsaturated fatty acids, mas na-aggravate yung insulin resistance. So, mas yung balik or yung effect for the blood pressure is andyan na siya uli. So, mas mabilis. Kasi mas madami siyang oxidative stress, mas madaming antioxidants, oxidative stress na nandyan. Sorry. Yun.
At saka one thing that I am amazed about human beings, sometimes we know the answer. It's just that we are nauunahan ng either panic or problem and we can't seem to find it. So with this question, for example, there are keywords that we need to emphasize. Like, naka-low carb 1 year strict, nag-normal na siya noon. So when we see ourselves writing these things, we need to reread again, and then the answer is already there. Ibalik mo yung naka-low carb siya noon na strict dahil nag-normal siya noon. So, the answer is actually already there. Kung ano yung nag-work sa kanya before, gaano ka-strict yung strict, maybe yun na yung kulang na factor sa ginagawa ng asawa nyo ngayon. So, habang nagpapagaling siya, kailangan niya munang maggamot because we have to really control the blood pressure or the kidneys and other organs will suffer. But you have to go back to the way you used to practice low carb as strict as it can be because doon nag-respond yung asawa ninyo. So, meaning, mas kailangan niya talaga siguro ng mas strict na low carb dahil hindi pa siya magaling. At hindi pa siya gumagaling, na-trigger na ulit. So, yun lang po yung yun po yung kailangan natin talaga. And then, ito yung sabi ni Ma'am Mea, kasi Ma'am Mea was the one who asked about 130/90, is it normal or not normal? So, sabi natin not normal. And sabi niya, high blood and high blood uric. Pero nag-low carb na for 3 months, may mali pa din ba? May mali. Definitely may mali. But saan ang mali? It's hard to pinpoint saan. Because maraming katanungan, anong low carb ang kinakain mo for the past 3 months? Or is 3 months enough to lower down your blood pressure and blood uric acid? Kasi tatandaan natin, if we have been so sick for a very, very long time, 3 months may not be enough even if it's very clean to fix the problem na naipon na natin ng matagal na panahon. And malaking factor din, paano mo ginagawa yung low carb? Because anyone na nag-cut ng kanin at bread can claim that they're low carb. I'm not saying that you're claiming that you're low carb and not, pero I'm saying in general, for all the general population who comes to us telling us that they are low carb. As a physician, my job is always to have a doubt because we cannot trust anybody. If we trust everyone, we can misdiagnose, we can make an assumption that they are right, ganun agad. And one of the training that we had is to at least put the benefit of the doubt na, wait, sabi niya low carb. Pero, syempre, ano yung low carb na sinasabi nila? So, we always make, parang ask people to, sige, if you're saying you're low carb, can you please write down eat, what you ate yesterday and the other day? So that makita namin even the ingredients. And that's how we qualify. May qualification, bakla.
Patient personality ba ito?
Yes, may qualification. Like, that is how we can say na, okay, so, tama yung ginagawa, pero maybe yung severity is hindi pa kaya ng 3 months. Pero kung kunwari, na-pinpoint agad natin doon, may mali. Hindi low carb ang ginagawa mo or low carb ang ginagawa mo but not anti-inflammatory. I have to emphasize sa lahat ng mga nanonood, a low carb diet or keto diet is not equal to anti-inflammatory. Bakit ko nasabi yon? Because we all have different definition of a low carb diet. If a low carb diet for you includes all that is only low in carbohydrate, but you still allow, for example, foods that are inducing insulin effect, like sweeteners, if you're still allowing plants na sobrang taas ng anti-nutrients and you're still allowing dirty foods that has toxic oils, that is still low carb, but that is not anti-inflammatory. So, meaning, if your problem is inflammation and insulin resistance, low carb could not be enough. So, we have to add, kasi ang gusto ng tao laging specific. Yun ang napansin ko parang dapat sana madali na lang, low carb na. Pero ngayon, pag gumagawa kami ni Burn, may ganito na, low carb, low oxalate, anti-inflammatory diet. Kasi parang pag hindi mo pala nilagyan ng term ang Pilipino, hindi siya klaro. So, pag sinabi mo low carb, kasi ang low carb, 50 grams of carbs. Lalagay mo pa low oxalate, tanggalin na lahat ng may oxalate. Tapos lalagyan mo pa anti-inflammatory. So, bawal ang toxic oil, bawal. Supposed to be, pag sinabi mo na ng keto, doc, magkakasama na yon.
Supposed to be in one.
Kasi supposed to be in one.
Supposed to be one. Oo. Tsaka even in studies na mga inilalabas, laging kapag ka sinasabing ketogenic diet, it's supposed to be a well-formulated ketogenic diet. Hindi lang siya basta ketogenic diet. Dapat may well-formulated kasi the ketogenic diet, as per your definition, may not be the same as the well-formulated ketogenic diet na sinasabi doon sa study. So talagang dinedefine yan within yung inclusions kapag kung titignan mo yung methodology ng study, ano bang mga kinain, anong tinanggal, anong bawal, ganun yung naka-indicate doon. So, mas clear siya. So, unfortunately, kapag ka sa atin, kapag ka sinabing, na-experience ko to kapag ka, ay wala pong rice, bakit naka-low carb ka? Hindi porket hindi ka nag-rice, it's already you are on a low carb. Hindi rin porket hindi ka nag-bread, you are already on a low carb. Kasi, pwedeng hindi ka nga nag-rice, hindi ka nagbe-bread, pero kumakain ka ng oatmeal for breakfast. Pwede ring hindi ka kumakain ng rice at bread, pero pinalitan mo naman yung bread mo, lagi kang naka-almond flour. So, technically, kung ikaw ay laging naka-almond flour, tapos ikaw pala ay stone farmer, and almond flour is high in oxalates, then you are not doing the ketogenic diet or the low carb diet properly. At the same time, almonds, they are full of anti-nutrients, which is the leptin. So, and kung lagi kang kumakain ng almond bread, tapos since may presence siya ng leptin, pwedeng sirain niya yung lining ng stomach mo. And then definitely, magiging way yon para pumasok yung ibang bacteria, papasok doon
Yes,
sa lining
toxins.
ng iyong stomach. And then it would cause a series of sunod-sunod na events or cascades or pathway na eventually will lead to insulin resistance. So, definitely, kung ganito yung way mo, hindi ka gumagawa ng low carb or hindi ka naka-ketogenic diet. So you are doing it improperly. So you may want to consider uli kung tignan mo uli, i-review mo uli yung mga kinakain mo, bakit ganun pa rin ang blood pressure? Bakit wala pa ring improvement? So, merong kang ginagawa or meron kang kinakain or meron kang practice na hindi siya akma for you.
Tsaka Doc, di ba? One of the reason why we're doing low carb is to lower down the sugar so that we could lower down the insulin to the lowest level. Mm-hmm. There are foods that still has insulin effect. In fact, lahat tayo mahilig sa low carb sweetener kasi nga change natin. Yes, it could be better than real sugar. I would not parang contest with that. Na kung talaga nga namang nag-sugar ka, mas better naman talaga yung low carb sweetener. Pero remember this, we have insulin effect. It's not just the sugar na binababaan natin, but we are really trying to lower down the sugar inside the body because we are trying to stabilize also the level of insulin. So even without the sugar, if you're eating sweetener that has no sugar at all, but it has sweet taste that triggers your brain para mag-release pa rin ng katawan mo ng insulin, you will still not improve the insulin resistance, which is the reason kung bakit meron ka pa rin hypertension at hindi pa rin nagiging okay yung iba mong mga problem like hyperinsulinemia. So the hyperinsulinemia ensues even without the sugar in the blood just because of the insulin effect. Because our brain is getting information even without the real thing, but with the information. So when you say information, pag nakatikim ka matamis, yung matamis is already an information being sent o nasisend sa brain. So whether or not totoong sugar siya o hindi, the thing is, yung sweetness is already sent sa utak natin. So, ang tendency ni utak, because na-condition siya before na lahat ng matamis ay totoong sugar, kahit hindi totoong sugar yung kinain mo, when the information that it is sweet has been sent to your brain, the initial reaction would be maging vigilant yung katawan, itaas yung insulin so there is a slight increase in the insulin. And until tuloy-tuloy pa rin na ganun yung practice ninyo, tuloy-tuloy pa rin na ganun din yung magiging practice ng katawan ninyo. So, that's the reason why for most people na hindi na nagsusweetener and carbs, di ba? Nagkakaroon sila ng carb intolerance. Bakit? Kasi nga dahil hindi na rin sila nakakasagap ng information ng matamis at information na carbs at asukal. Pag nag-carbs na sila, hindi din nagkakaroon na ng insulin effect. Lalo na kung metabolically, like for example, yung mga ilang years na sobrang clean nila mag-practice ng low carb, like clean, like no sweetener, the standard, well-formulated ketogenic diet na sinasabi ni Doc. So basically, they will have like hard time agad na i-process yung carbs kasi nga, the insulin does not spike easily. So, the problem nowadays, sabi ko nga, previously the practice was, it's okay because we cannot contest with the idea that really low carb sweetener or no sugar or zero sugar sweetener is really better than sugar. Pero what happens nowadays, it became a staple pa rin into our practice even after long time of practicing low carbohydrate diet. It's supposed to just be helping people to transition. Kaya nga tinatanong natin yung mga pasyente, di ba, na kaya mo na ba agad-agad mag-switch o gusto mo muna unti-unti? And when they say unti-untiin, okay, we will help you. Pwede ka muna mag-start to convert the sugar into low-carb sweetener, and then your bread, you can have like low-carb bread, but we are teaching people to be accustomed na hindi sila mag-need o mangailangan na ng bread. Because definitely, hindi naman talaga din natin kailangan ng mga yan in a regular basis. Pero ang nangyayari, our comfort zone, we stay in our comfort zone. Nandun lang tayo, hindi tayo umaalis. So now, if we, for example, if we parang realize na hindi tayo gumagaling, dapat kasama doon yung realization mo and reflection mo, ano na ba yung naging practice ko within the past 3 years or 4 years. And kaya ko to ninanarrate sa inyo because I've been there, done that. I've been doing the low carb for like 3 years. And then I saw that I was still on my comfort zone. Imagine being a low carb doctor also seeking help with a fellow low-carb physician, which is si Doc Suzette. I think, sabi ko nga, hindi mo pwede maging doktor ang sarili mo because that will not gonna work. Someone has to tell you, especially if you're addicted. And so, what I'm saying is that, kung hirap ka, for example, nakikita mo ng may mali, you seek help. Kasi basically, kung hindi gumaganda yung resulta mo, may mali talaga. Huwag na nating tanungin, may mali ba? May mali talaga. Kasi basically, if tama yan, the result should also be right. Pero minsan yung tama kasi hindi tama para sa lahat. Pwedeng tama na sa kanya yung practice niya. Kunwari, ketogenic ka, tama na sa'yo. Then stay there. Pero paano ako, ginaya kita keto, pero hindi pa rin siya tama sa akin. Maybe I need to be more strict. I need to find what is right and well formulated for my case. So that is what we are actually saying.
And since na-mention mo na rin, Fee, yung sweetener, and na-discuss mo na rin yung pagtaas pa rin ng insulin, the insulin response pa rin. The sweetener also, nagiging trigger for food addiction. So just imagine na ginawa mo na siyang bridge, the sweetener, plus yung mga so-called low-carb bread, low-carb pasta, low-carb treats. Pero ang nangyayari kasi, hindi mo na siya matanggal because you are addicted doon sa food. Well, in fact, kung wala naman kasing substitute, kasi nang nangyayari kapag ka nagko-convert is, pwede naman akong kumain nito kasi low carb bread, low carb pasta, or low carb cake. You are just trying to feed again your addiction sa food. When supposed to be, dapat, you are eating highly nutritious food, nutrient-dense food. And supposed to be, there is no, wala na dapat maging way ang anti-nutrients kasi anti-nutrients get in the way kasi ito yung ano nila, ito yung pathway nila. Number one culprit is yung nuts. 'Di ba? All nuts, they have anti-nutrients. So, what if you are the susceptible person na masyadong sensitive on anti-nutrients? 'Di ba? So, again, it will just mimic the insulin resistance and you will notice na hindi ka makaalis doon sa level ng insulin resistance. If there is some improvement, napakababa lang. And the thing is, ang nangyayari ay you are really not hitting your protein intake. You are not hitting your fat intake. Kasi naunahan na nitong mga so-called replacement, so-called substitute. 'Di ba? So ang nangyayari, yes, you improve on the first year or you improve on the first 6 months, pero ang nangyayari, hindi ka na makausad after the 6th month kasi nagplateau ka na. Napansin mo na rin, your blood pressure, bumaba into 130/80, which is better than noong nasa hypertensive level na 140/80, pero hindi ka na umusad pababa kasi you are not treating your insulin resistance properly. Na-stagnant ka na doon sa way of eating mo na dapat ang mas inuuna mong bunuin is gaano ba kadami or ano ba ang target mo for your protein? Ano ba ang target mo for your carbs? Kasi sumusobra ka na sa carbohydrate mo. Supposed to be the target is less than 50. Pero you jump over, hindi ka na more than 50 ka na. So, hindi mo na nakikit yung proteins mo na supposed to be the other calories would be coming from the fat, pero hindi mo na rin siya nakikit. So, ang nangyayari, you are converting your supposed to be low carb diet into a low caloric diet. So, eventually, your basal metabolic rate mo is bumababa, unti-unting mag-shutdown yung katawan mo. Even the other organs, your thyroid hormones mo is kasama ng affected. So, hindi ka na makaalis doon sa supposed to be dapat na magandang estado ng katawan mo, na-stuck ka na doon. So, ayun na nangyayari. Kaya hindi ka na makausad. Well, supposed to be, dapat ang i-prioritize mo is aim or target your protein intake together with the fat.
And tsaka stop fooling yourself for like cheating yourself. Iba yung cheat food and cheating yourself. What I meant by cheating yourself is, isa to sa natutunan ko na pagkakamali ko. So I want to share. Because in order for me to become also parang siguro effective could be if I also share to you yung realization ko sa mali ko. Because we used to do like cauliflower rice, cabbage rice, thinking that it could actually replace our rice, shirataki rice and everything, and then low carb everything. For me, it is not rice. It will only make you more frustrated and desperate because you are actually fooling yourself na kumakain ka ng cabbage rice, imagining that it is a real rice, only to find out na nang sinubo mo siya, it does not actually taste like a real rice. So, for me, let us just stay with the reality. We always have to go back to our own reality. This is not a rice. This is a cauliflower. This is a cabbage. You put a cabbage and an egg. So this is a minced cabbage stir-fried with egg. And this is a minced cauliflower stir-fried with egg. It's not a cauliflower rice. It's not a shirataki rice.
But hindi mo na lang steam. Mas madali kaysa maggayat ka.
No, but I mean, di ba, parang niloloko lang natin lahat ng sarili natin when we're doing things like that, because I used to like do it and get frustrated all the time because no, it doesn't taste like rice at all. So, because you became more frustrated, the more that you will crave the real thing. Just because you were expecting a lot habang niluluto mo yung cauliflower rice. Like, matitikman ko para tong kanin, para tong sinag. And pag taste mo, it's like, no. I realized I really want the fried rice. So, ano nangyari? The next day, you cook the fried rice. Why do I know that? Because I do that. And I did
meron
that.
din ako na-encounter na patient na ganyan. Sabi niya, ang gusto niya kaldereta pero low carb version. Pero hindi naman daw lasang kaldereta. Sabi ko, that's the reality. It will not really taste like kaldereta. The kaldereta na kilala niya, na kinasanayan niya, hindi talaga. Pero
that's the reason why, Doc, di ba, you
tawag
do not
lang,
also use, you do not use low carb bread. It's really a coconut bread. It's really an almond bread. It's not low carb bread. Basically, if you say it's a low carb bread, it will give you like a sense of comfort na you're eating like the old bread that you're used to. Pero nung tinikman mo, hindi talaga siya yung bread na yun.
Ano to? Nilaloko mo lang ang sarili mo, parang panloloko sa'yo ng jowa mo.
Ang dami ng... Buti na lang si Dr. Seth hindi hahabol. Buti na lang si Dr. Seth hindi hahabol sa 2023. Wala siyang hahabulin ng 2023. Walang jowang iiwan, wala ring wala ring in-laws na makakaaway.
Ayan, kaka-social media yan eh.
Kaka-social media yan eh, o diba? Sabi dito, Doc, what's the formula that we're looking at the lipid panel para masabi na protected ka pa rin kahit napakataas na ng LDL? Lipid panel itself is a very low quality determination. So, kung ang tanong nyo lang po is ano yung titignan natin sa lipid panel, sad to say, the least that you can do with the lipid panel is to see the ups and downs. Like for example, kung mataas ang LDL and then mataas din yung HDL pero so mababa naman yung triglyceride ninyo, you can compute the triglyceride HDL ratio. That's the least that you can do. But still, it will not show you, ma'am, kung maganda ba yung LDL mo or maganda ba yung quality ng lahat ng cholesterol sa katawan mo. And it will not show you where it will end up. So, pinaka maganda pa rin yan if you have some money to splurge, you get your CAC score kasi kahit anong baba ng cholesterol nyo, kung marami ng damages yung ugat ninyo, yun pa rin naman ang gagawin ng cholesterol nyo to help fixing yung mga gas-gas ng inyong mga ugat. So, basically, wala pa rin tayong makikita.
Tsaka on the risk, hindi kasi naman LDL yung nasa top of the list.
Of the list.
To check the blood pressure, is it normal? Check the blood sugar, is it normal? Yun yung top 2 eh. Hindi naman automatic LDL para masabing protected ka. Remember, based on studies, 50% na nagkakaroon ng heart attack, they have normal LDL. And 50% na nagkaka-heart attack, mataas ang LDL. So it's a 50-50 chance. But karamihan ng na-heart attack, they have hypertension, they have blood sugar or uncontrolled blood sugar, uncontrolled diabetes or uncontrolled hypertension. So priority on those. Make sure na kung kayo ay hypertensive or kayo ay diabetic, is controlled ng inyong hypertension and diabetes plus the inflammation. Kung kayo ba ay inflame, may pamamaga ba na present sa loob ng katawan. That's why kanina ina-emphasize ni Fee na yung pagkain ng mga low in inflammation. So, hindi guaranteed na you have a low LDL, protected ka na. At hindi rin porket you have high LDL, magkakaroon ka na kaagad ng stroke or heart attack. So, just recently, usapan sa social media yung study ng lean mass hyperresponders kung saan yung mga study population na kinuha is mga naka-ketogenic diet na on an average of 4.7 years. And nakita na kahit mataas ang LDL, there is no difference sa CAC score ang mataas ng LDL at mababang LDL. So, it's the same, equal footing.
Yes. Also, sabi nga ni Doc, pinaka-mura, pinaka-libre is measure your waist circumference kasi that really signifies a lot. It could tell you something about how your liver works. It could tell you something about insulin resistance. It could tell you something about what's going inside your body as well. So, isa yan sa pinaka-simple. As well as, wag na nating hanapin kung may mali bago tayo gumalaw, I think. Or for all people who are watching right now, wag nating hanapan muna ng mali yung mga laboratory natin before we create changes or before we try something that could improve our health. Sometimes kasi we become complacent just because we see that our lab results are okay pa or kaya pa, lumalaban pa, nagfa-fight pa yung katawan. Pero yun yung masakit, no? Hindi lang pala mahal natin sa buhay ang sumusuko sa atin minsan. It's also ourself, sumusuko din sa atin.
Ayun
so, yun yung pinakamahirap sa lahat. Akala nyo ba pinakamasakit yung iniwan kayo ng mga jowa ninyo? Hindi yun. Mas masakit pag iniwan kayo ng kaluluwa ninyo. So, wag nyo hintayin. wag nyo hintayin na kaluluwa na ninyo ang umalis at iwan kayo.
Tapos na November 1, Fee. Christmas ay isa-celebrate natin.
Yeah. Kasi di ba, Doki, yun pinakahirap pag sinukuan kayo ng katawan ninyo. That will be the hardest part because ang hirap ligawan ng sarili mong katawan. Di ba, sinusuyo nyo pa yan, mag-clean low carb na tayo. Hindi pa rin siya okay, 3 months na. Buti nga yung jowa mo, utuin mo lang bukas, okay na kayo. Pero yung katawan mo, ilo-low carb na kita. Promise na talaga ito. Nakadami ka na rin promise sa katawan mo. Hindi na rin siya maniwala sa'yo.
New Year's resolution na naman?
Yeah. Yeah, ligawan niyo muna yung mga sarili ninyo and make sure that you can take care of yourself before you try to take care of other people. Ang laki ng hugot ko talaga. eh, Kaya
Kaya
hirap
ano,
talaga
ayan, sige, next.
Next natin is how many months daw ba possible na maging healed ang high blood? It depends. It
Depends.
depends
Depends
gaano ka
upon the body.
body, depends on how lala, kung gaano kalala yung sakit mo to begin with, depends on what are
Depends.
the factors, risk factors kung bakit ka rin
How
nagkaroon ng high
proper
blood
din.
pressure. Yeah, proper you're doing. Kasi ito si Ma'am Fe, sabi niya, normal lagi yung BP pero may time na tumataas pag 30 minutes after gumising. So, try mo, pag after 30 minutes, itry mo ulit for another 30 minutes. Kasi usually, our body, when it kickstarts our body sometimes, medyo tumataas talaga yung BP natin kasama sa pagtaas ng cortisol, ng pagtaas ng epinephrine. Kasi you know what, guys? The reason why you do not have to eat breakfast as soon as you wake up, which is one of the mistake na ginagawa ng Pinoy, na tipong pagkagising, hindi pa makamulat yung mata, sinusubuan na ng pagkain. Our body knows that we need energy upon waking up. So, yung hormones natin sa katawan natin is making sure na meron tayong kickstarter kapag gising natin. Kaya medyo mataas din ang blood sugar pagkagigising. Yung growth hormone natin, guys, mataas yan pag 4 o'clock a.m., yung mga tipong papagising ka na. So, basically, gumagawa na rin yung liver mo ng sugar, kaya kahit di ka kumain, mataas pa rin yung sugar ng katawan. So, pagkagising mo, sabay-sabay yan, epinephrine, cortisol, sabay-sabay yan, yung glucagon, mataas din, and then lahat na. So, basically, this is like a fight or flight. So, when you wake up, it's like a fight zone. So, medyo mataas. So, we advise patient na kapag ka magbi-BP kayo, 30 minutes, pagka, di ba, after gumising, 30 minutes, pero make sure that hindi ka rin nag-coffee bago ka BP. So, kapag ka ganyan, itry nyo lang ulit na ulitin yung BP. May iba kasi na 30 minutes nga after pagkagising nag-BP, pero pagkagising nag-is na ng mga, alam mo yun, dami ng ginawa, na high blood na sa anak, yung mga ganyan, na high blood na sa asawa, ganyan. So, maraming factors. Pero basically, yes, medyo mataas talaga yung BP natin upon waking up. Wait for about 30 minutes to an hour. So, pag 30 minutes, pagkagising mataas, ulitin nyo lang after 30 minutes ulit na well-rested, na hindi pa nagkakape. So, eventually, pag bumaba yan, ibig sabihin, nakaka-adapt pa rin naman po yung katawan natin. So, yun lang. Yan tuloy, natanong na tuloy ang almond flour pandesal na DIY.
Ay,
nasagot na rin
discuss
po
na
ito kanina. Na-discuss na ito kanina. Fasting, could it help sa pagpapababa ng BP? Fasting is good, but it is also more important. It is not also but it is more important that you'd be parang very tawag dito yung maano sa kinakain kesa sa pagfa-fasting. Kasi kahit nagfa-fasting ka, in order for you to, of course, reach the autophagy, pero kunwari, garbage din naman yung kakainin mo. Same lang din. So, dapat, parehas sila na binibigyan nyo ng importansya. Kasi hindi naman talaga tayo dapat madalas kumakain. Pero every time nakakain din tayo, hindi din pwede na ang kinakain natin ay garbage. Or else, sayang din yung inotophagy mo. Para ka lang para kang naglampaso tapos saka mo tinapakan ng maruming paa. Parang ganun. So, papagurin mo na naman yung sarili mo. Kakabwisit yun. O, diba? So, ganun yon. Diba? Dapat, pag nag-is ka, dapat yung tsinelas mo malinis din. Yung pantatapak mo doon. Or else, pagka ganun, marumi din yung ipampapasok mo doon sa malinis na bahay na wala din. Okay. Next. Ay, si uncle mo. Kung alam mo daw na mapapasok ka ulit, hahawakan mo pa ba yung apoy? It depends. It depends. Anong apoy? Sabi ganun. Sorry na. Ano pa to? Okay daw ba mag-low carb kung may kidney stones? Sabi niya. Mas maganda if you're doing low carb and at the same time low oxalate.
Low oxalate.
Kasi one of the most common na stone, marami kasing types of stone. May struvite stone, may yung mga stone na yun na yung nagkakos is infection. Kapag lagi ka may kidney infection, may UTI, may mga type na kung saan nagkikreate sila ng crystals. Yan, may mga struvite, may mga pinakamataas pa rin is calcium oxalate. May mga urate stones. Yes. So, sa Ma'am Rica, meron daw siyang white coat hypertension.
Bili ka ng blood pressure machine sa bahay.
Sa bahay.
Yan ang gagawin. Oo. So, check your blood pressure at home. Mas okay siya.
Ito naman, sabi niya, hello doc, pareho niyo po akong naging patient. Wow. Talaga, kung hindi ka pa gumaling
Anyari.
Anyari, si Ma'am Elena. Question lang po, tumaas ko yung BP ko more than 1 year na po ako sa LC. Nung isang araw po sobrang sakit ng leg
Cramping,
ko.
So muscles.
Cramping. Leg. Akala ko leeg. Leg pala. Leg. So muscle po siya. Hindi po, iba po siya sa BP. Kumusta na po yung BP nyo ngayon? So ngayon, kung kunwari sumakit yung legs ninyo, yung nag-cramps po, tignan po natin kung ano yung ibang factor. Maybe nag-change ka ng diet, for example, from a bit liberal low carb or low carb, bigla kang sumama, parang nasa carnivore group si Ma'am Elena Yago. So magkaka-keto flu ka pa rin yan. Parang nakikita ko si Ma'am Elena doon eh. So pwede ka pa rin magkaroon ng keto flu. Mind you, lahat, basta nag-change ka into more minimal carbohydrate to no carbohydrate, kahit isang taon ka nang naka-low carb or keto, you will still experience keto flu na tinatawag or imbalances in electrolytes kasi, syempre, you still adjusted your sugar and carbohydrate intake to a very minimal level. So your body will still adjust. Hydrate well and eat your protein very well, and at the same time, if there is a need for you to supplement with magnesium, do so. Basta make sure that nutrient dense yung kinakain, nahihit mo yung calories, nahihit mo rin yung protein. Because our meat, meron yang potassium. Contrary sa akala ng iba na ang potassium lang ay nasa saging, ang ating mga karne ay meron din po siyang mga potassium. So make sure na. Pero hindi po ito sa hypertension. Pag sumakit
ang question ko lang ulit to, ano nangyari sa low carb niya? Yun lang uli ang itatanong ko dyan. What happened to the low carb? Was it, naman,
at saka,
properly executed ba siya?
Kumusta na rin yung BP ngayon? So, pares pala nating naging patient. Di tayo magaling, Doki. Ni-reveal ni Mami, hindi kami magaling. Charot. Low carb. Low carb, pero not anti-inflammatory nga po do. Kasi minsan nakain pa din sa labas, mga fried chicken and roasted chicken. Yes. So that is what we are doing. So ito yung ina-explain ni Sir Alan, the cephalic phase insulin release kahit gumagamit ng zero carb sweetener. That's it. So sabi, dapat po pala iwasan din yung almond and coconut flour. Coconut flour could be used minimally. Coconut flour is actually better. It has lesser oxalate. Almond flour kasi, you have to understand, almond flour is from the nuts pa rin. You have to know na hindi po talaga natural diet ng tao ang nuts.
Yeah.
Sabi nga, when I interviewed Sally Norton, sabi niya, nuts were discovered lang as aroma and as flavoring, pero hindi talaga siya intended and even not a natural part of the human diet, even before. Ewan ko, nakakita na kayo ng mga Neanderthals o mga hunter-gatherer ng ngumunguya at
nuts.
mga ng nuts
Tsaka,
doon, ano,
please
wala.
don't fall sa almond milk. It's not a milk. Hugas ng almond yun eh. Pinaghugasan ng almond nuts. It's not a milk. Maraming nafo-fall. Dok, pwede bang gatas almond milk? Hindi po gatas ang almond milk.
Yes, wala. Hindi talaga. Kahit anong gawin natin. So, basically, everything that is from the nuts, hindi siya talaga part ng human diet. So, may mga pasyente ako minsan nagsasabi na, "Ha, Dok, bawal din ang nuts? Hindi ko kaya." Pag sinabihan niyo ako ng hindi ko kaya, hindi po ako makikipaglaban. Talagang, ay, okay po, hindi niyo po pala kaya. So, tapos ang usapan. Kasi, minsan, kapag nakakarinig sila na, pati nuts hindi pwede, yun pa naman ang favorite ko. Mag-change na lang tayo ng favorite.
Ano, masalama. Bye-bye.
So, bye-bye. Talagang ganun talaga po ang buhay. Minsan, kailangan mag-change tayo po ng favorite. Kasi hindi talaga pwede. So, pag sinabi nyo naman na hindi ko kaya, Dok, period. Ako, sige, okay lang, hindi mo kaya. Ganun talaga din. Hindi natin pipilitin. So,
Basta don't
be
expect
aware.
na Basta don't expect na may mga medical conditions will improve or mas mabilis siyang ma-achieve or hindi ganun ka-fragile yung health conditions niya if someone wants to pursue or
Yes.
wants to still eat the nuts or yung ibang mga food na supposed to be dapat tanggalin. Don't expect, wag itaas ang expectations. Yun.
Sasabi dito, kung LMHR ka, paano mo daw pabababain ang LDL mo? So, nagkaroon din ng santelasma dahil sa high HDL. Patuloy pa rin ba ang strict low carb or mag-reintroduce ng carb to 50 to 100 grams?
Ayan, Theo, consult mo na.
Ako?
It was medically consulted kasi santelasma, it was diagnosed. So, this is a consultation type, yeah.
Yes. So, ang hirap naman po na tignan na hindi nga namin alam kung ano pa yung iba mong kasi LDL lang po yung tinatanong. Unang-una may criteria para masabi rin na LMHR ka. So, basically, doon natin makikita para masabi natin, mukhang kasama to sa LMHR. So, ano yung triglyceride level mo, anong HDL level mo, ano yung LDL level mo. Doon natin yan makikita. But basically, sabi nga natin, hindi tayo pwedeng magbigay ng medical advice.
Ako kasi naka-leave ako. Naka-study leave pa ako, Fee. So, ikaw mag-consult.
January pa ako, tandaan mo yan. Walang ano dito. But, Sir Dodong, we need to really know kung ano, santelasma, is it really just due to the high LDL? Because it's not the only thing that could be parang the factor for you developing the santelasma as well. So, basically, mas better din na makita din talaga buong picture ng inyong condition. Sabi ni Sir Ramil, kailangan pala gulay tanggalin na rin po ba? It depends. If, there are many carnivore people right now who are also experimenting. Like, for example, they did it for elimination purposes, like as an elimination diet and then reintroduction. We're not saying that everyone cannot tolerate vegetables. It's just that it's hard kasi sometimes to pinpoint which vegetable or plants ang pwede at hindi pwede sa inyo if you are eating everything. Like, for example, sometimes patient would come to me asking me, Doktor, alin kaya mali? I was like, you're eating everything. How am I supposed to know kung ano yung mali? Because basically, what we can do is just to, okay, let's like reset the body. You can start doing elimination diet and after some time, you can reintroduce. Pwede ka mag-reintroduce ng pagkain one at a time para alam mo din kung ano yung kayang i-tolerate ng katawan mo. Kasi alam niyo ang katawan natin, if you've been doing an elimination diet for quite a long time, kapag may nilagay ka na dyan, sabi niyo dati parang wala naman akong reaction sa tsokolate, pero nung nag-clean low carb ako, parang, o kaya nag-carnivore ako, parang, ngayon, nagkaka-reaction na ako, parang gano'n. Hindi naman sa gano'n, it's just that, mas, na yung katawan mo, mas nagre-respond na siya. Meaning, mas alam niya na yung inflammatory at hindi inflammatory kasi na-reset na yung immune system mo. So, nangyayari dyan, yung sensitivity mo noon, kasi dati, sensitive ka sa lahat, sobrang wreck or sobrang damage na rin ang immune response mo. Hindi mo na alam kung saan ka nagre-respond kasi nga lahat kinakain, sabay-sabay na. By the time na nag-elimination diet ka, within 6 months, for example, upon reintroduction, kahit isang item lang yan, magre-react talaga yung katawan mo. So, malalaman mo na, hindi pala to pwede sa akin. So, kahit bagulay, kailangan tanggalin. If, for example, nag-keto ka na, pero you are not seeing for example, any improvement, maybe you really need to take off most of the plant foods and do elimination, and then after 6 months or 9 months you may reintroduce. So kailan ka magre-reintroduce? By the time na na-achieve mo na yung optimal health na gusto mo. Kasi hindi ka naman pwedeng mag-reintroduce na may nararamdaman ka pa. Kasi kapag na-achieve mo na yung optimal health, that's the time na pwede mo i-gauge, okay, magdagdag nga ako. Do I like the feeling? Kasi ganun ang ginawa ni Doc Mike. Like for example, si Doc Mike, nag-elimination diet siya. He felt so good. And upon reintroduction of plants, nag-bloat siya. So of course, it's a matter of ano na yung
ayaw na niya ibalik.
Choice niya kung ibabalik niya pa o hindi. So basically, may mga tao na kaya pa rin silang i-tolerate. Like Sally Norton is also meat-based, but she's very, very, for example, mindful when it comes to the oxalate content talaga ng food. And she is also parang helping carnivore people to parang in-educate niya, like kung meron kang oxalate dumping, how to transition. And she is also parang advocate of carnivore. So meaning, hindi lang siya nagpa-practice ng carnivore kasi alam na niya yung safe zone niya, Doki. Pero naghe-help siya sa mga nagta-transition into carnivore diet, meaning she also advocates sa carnivore diet. Kasi that time, sa kanya ako nagpatulong. Nasabi ko sa kanya, I experience oxalate dumping. Sally, how can you help me? I want to become carnivore. So, ganito gawin mo. So, basically, yes, thank you so much, Sally Norton. Pero, yeah, tanggalin nyo kung kailangan. Kung sa tingin nyo, hindi nyo kailangan tanggalin.
Tsaka
kayo kasi nakakaramdam yan eh. Kayo
tsaka based pa rin on guidelines. And it was stated there na hindi natin kailangan or the body does not need walang minimum na carbohydrate na requirement ng katawan. It's actually 0. You can live even without carbohydrates. Remember, plants, carbohydrate siya. So, if you are reaching or if you are nare-reach ninyo yung proteins and fat requirement ninyo within the day, pwedeng wala kang carbohydrate intake.
Yes.
So, the gulay is optional. So,
it's actually not necessary.
If tinitreat niyo, meron kayong tinitreat na medical condition, pwede munang tanggalin muna ninyo yung carbohydrate na nanggagaling from gulay. Tapos, you can reintroduce one by one. Kung ano yung feel ninyo na gusto nyo nang kainin, isa-isa. Huwag nyong i-introduce all at the same time. Kasi magugulo na naman kayo kung alin ba talaga yung culprit. Ganon yung ginagawa ng iba. Ganoon yung kanilang strategy. Pero, yun nga, it's optional ang gulay. Hindi siya mandatory.
Ito tanong, ask ko lang if I use iTerra machine therapy, nakakatulong po ba mag-heal ng health problem? First of all, hindi ko alam kung ano po yung iTerra machine therapy. So, hindi ko din po ito masasagot. Yes. We are more of studying about foods. So, basically, like mga machines, I am not very particular with it. So, I'm so sorry, sir, kasi we cannot answer about this one. I want to practice carnivore diet by eating pork, chicken, and eggs. Is it okay if my food routine is always like that? Yes. It's actually okay if with regards lang sa ako basically I have lang experience with the chicken. If you can find like kahit hindi naman like sobrang high quality chicken, pero kung may mga native dyan duso, mas okay pa rin. Because medyo iba yung pork kahit hindi kasi siya organic, okay pa rin yung quality eh. Pero sa chicken kasi, sometimes hindi ko ba alam, ang dami ba nilang ini-inject? Because chicken nowadays, doon ka napapansin ko, parang nagiging inflammatory na rin sila. It has effects on me. I understand. Kasi same din sa protocol, for example, ng carnivore cure ni Judy Cho. Parang kapag nasa carnivore healing ka talaga, hindi mo na niya pinapayagan talaga mag-introduce din ng chicken, pero pinapayagan niya mag-introduce ng eggs. So, beef, pork, for the first phase, and then saka mag-introduce ng egg. Pero kung wala kang problem sa egg, you can incorporate that agad with your diet. So, if yan yung routine mo, wala ka naman talaga ibang magiging routine. Parang yan yung sagot na masasabi ko. Like,
ay, pwede beef, pork, chicken, eggs. O
yeah,
kaya,
pero sabi niya
seafood,
kasi,
pork, chicken.
I want to practice carnivore diet by eating pork, chicken, eggs. Is it okay if my food routine is always like that? I guess there is
Yun yung
no other
preference
way
mo.
because there's also no other way. Kahit dagdagan mo pa ng beef, pero dun lang din iikot talaga yung mundo mo. Unless you're someone who is like adventurous, pwede kang magsama dyan ng snake, ng locust.
Hirap naman.
Hindi ko, oo. Hindi, I mean, there are people, they're
Ano
eating
pala ka,
like,
bayawak, ganon.
like sa province. I grew up actually, Doc, eating the, yung palakang bukid. And it's tasty, tasty. Pero hindi ko alam kung tasty siya without the soy. So, ayoko na rin itry kasi, Pero
Masarap
I feel
yung
like,
fried.
pag i-fry
Nakatingin
ko
ako ng
siya
fried.
na i-fry ko siya, I think masarap because I grew up in a farm eh. Parang, parang lagi pag umuwi sila noon, yung mga uncle ko, mga pinsan ko, mag-anak ko, laging maraming palakang bukid. So, tuwang-tuwa ako na may palakang bukid kasi nasasarapan talaga ako. So, if may mga ganun din, pwede. Pero this routine is already okay as a starter. Pwedeng-pwede na yan. Doc, yung pinaglagaan daw ng mais, ay mataas pa rin ba ang carb?
Hindi ako naglalaga ng mais.
Pero ito lang po yan. There are things that you do when you process food, diba? The reason why our ancestors discovered processing foods, especially plants, is to lessen the oxalate or anti-nutrient content. So, pag naglaga kang mais, kunwari, tapos naglaga ka ng mais, tapos ininom mo yung sabaw, yung anti-nutrient ng mais, ininom mo
nakuha
na
dun
rin.
sa sabaw.
Parang nilaklak mo rin yung tinanggal mong anti-nutrient. Kaya mo nga siya nilaga kasi para mabawasan yung anti-nutrient ng mais. Pangalawa, there is still such thing as starch na that can actually be mixed in the water ng pinaglagaan. So, with the carb content, I'm not so sure. But with the anti-nutrient, I am sure. Because that is really the reason why we boil our plants. Kaya nga mali, kapag kunwari, nag-boil ka ng gulay, dahil sinama mo siya sa sinigang, sinama mo siya sa nilaga, tapos hinigop mo yung sabaw, dapat pala, yung gulay, i-boil mo na separate bago mo isama sa sabaw. Kasi dapat matanggal mo muna yung anti-nutrients or mabawasan yung anti-nutrients bago mo siya ihalo dun sa sabaw mismo ng karne mo, or else napupunta rin dun sa sabaw mismo na hihigupin mo yung anti-nutrients na tinanggal mo na supposed to be dun sa pinaglagaan. Diba?
Especially, hindi lang corn yung mga yung mga grains, yung mga munggo, yan, may mga anti-nutrients yan. So, pagka nilaga mo, tapos yung sabaw pa din, edi kinain mo lang din yung
Kaya
anti-nutrients.
'di ba Doc, yung nung unang panahon, they really soak it for very, very long time. So
Mhm.
the oxalate content, for example, when you're studying about the oxalate kasi, ang iba yung beans at saka iba yung peas. Ibig sabihin, mga green peas, ganun. Mas lower ang oxalate content ng peas than the beans and the legumes. So, basically, even if, for example, the black-eyed peas, for example, kailangan mo pa rin yung ibabad like 24 hours to how many hours just to get some of the oxalate. Pero still, mataas pa rin ang carbs kasi nun.
I
So if
remember
you,
practice ng mga Ilocano sa pagluluto ng munggo. Kinrakta nila, tapos pinapakuluan nila for several several times para matanggal yung skin, yung green
yes,
na balat ng munggo, 'di ba? Bago nila iluto, igisa ulit
hahanguin.
tapos
Yes, hahanguin nila
'di
yon.
ba?
Tapos
So yung
igigisa pa nila ulit.
yung process na yon, it's a process na matrabaho, pero yun pala yung isang rasyonale kung bakit dapat ganun ginagawa para matanggal yung anti-nutrients. Yun nga
Kaya
lang,
ayoko
syempre,
dati
there
ng
is
ano
pros
eh.
and cons, di ba?
Yes.
Pros and cons, pros, matanggal yung anti-nutrients, cons, wala nang nutrients, starch na lang.
Yes, masarap na lang siya, parang gano'n.
Oo.
Pero gano'n yung ginagawa din na nakita ko kasi parehas tayo ng ano eh, ng roots. As in,
Mm.
pinakuluan na hinango pa ulit.
Oo. Tapos,
Igigisa. It's like,
mamasahin pa gano'n, ano?
kaya low-key, never ko talagang naisip sa buong buhay kung magluluto rin ako ng munggo. Never. Kasi nakita ko yung process on how they do it. The impatient side of me cannot like wait for that
Mm-mm.
kasi sanay tayo instant, instant, instant. Ayan. So, okay, paano daw i-manage ang kaba o nervyos tuwing kinukuha na ng BP? Naku, hindi din po namin alam yan. Kasi sometimes we develop the mechanism by ourselves kasi and how to calm down. The deep breathing exercise could help, but you have to find out kasi anong kinakatakot mo. Because there is a certain reason why we become, parang scared o bakit tayo ninenervyos. Because if you know kung ano yung kinakatakot mo, then that is the one that we are gonna be targeting. It's like a parang behavioral cognitive na therapy type or yun nga, deep breathing minsan it does not work eh. Especially kung meron kang parang impending something sa'yo na parang danger. So you need to know, wait, pwede mo isulat, ano bang kinakatakot ko pag nagpapa-BP ako? Bakit ako natatakot pag i-BP na ako? Because you have to solve the issue within yourself talaga. So,
I-normalize lang yung pagbi-BP. Yun yung lagi kong isa sa common advice or laging sinasabi ko na advice. Pag natatakot magpakuha ng BP, bumili ka ng BP machine sa bahay. Tapos masanay ka
mhm.
every moment, every time kung kung wala kang ginagawa habang nanonood ng TV, wala namang hindi naman siya matagal. 1-2 minutes lang yun. Ma-check mo na yung BP mo. So, kapag regular mo na siyang ginagawa, especially yung mga digital, halos kasi lahat ng hospitals, alam ko may digital na. So, and yung sound nun, pwedeng mag-trigger ng kaba. Plus the fact na nakaputi ang lahat ng tao. So, white coat hypertension can come in. So, yun lang. I-normalize nyo lang yung pag-check ng blood pressure. Huwag kayong matakot. Wala namang mangyayari kapag malaman ninyo yung values ninyo. Mas maganda pa nga siya kasi it's more on the preventive side para alam ninyo kung ano yung blood pressure ninyo.
Yes. So, sabi din dito ni Ma'am Elena, oo, nagulat lang daw siya tumaas yung BP niya, pero okay naman na daw. At naka-low carb pa rin naman daw po. So,
Tinakot mo yata.
oo, natakot siya tuloy. And then, mataas pa rin daw ang cholesterol ni Ma'am Rachel. Cholesterol ko pero mababa yung triglyceride. Pero I'm worried, masyadong mataas yung uric acid ko. Doing carnivore for 2 weeks and low carb for more than 2 years. Kailan po tumaas yung uric acid? Yan yung tanong. During the time na naglo-low carb po ba kayo, tumaas yung uric acid o during nag-carnivore kayo, tapos nag-test kayo agad for uric acid? Because basically, if kunwari, bago kayo nag-transition ng low carb, mataas yung uric acid ninyo, pwede may mga hidden sugars kayo na nakakain. Whether sa marinade, sa mga sauce, na kinakain nyo as low carb. So, yun po yung yun po yung isa sa mga pwede nating tignan. Pero kung kunwari, nag-transition kayo bigla ng carnivore, tapos bigla kayong 2 weeks pa lang, nagpakuha na agad kayo ng blood, ninyo, parang blood workups ninyo, may possibility kasi na biglang tataas yung uric acid as your body would adjust again, basically. Pero mostly sa matataas ang uric acid, yan, hidden sugar talaga yung number one na cause din.
Tsaka uric acid is a sign of insulin resistance.
Mm-hmm.
So, pwede kasing yung tulad nga na sinabi mo, pwedeng na transition pagka bumaba yung carbohydrate intake, pagkatapos magche-check ng uric acid. So pwede kasing nung ibinaba mo yung carbohydrate intake mo, pwedeng pumasok ka into nutritional ketosis. So yung katawan is yung preference ng elimination, mas i-eliminate niya muna yung ketone sa loob ng katawan before the uric acid. So there is a transient increase ng uric acid. That's one possibility. So pwede rin yung inexplain ni Fee. So paano i-manage? Just stick to the carnivore diet, tapos proper hydration lang. Then if the reason is because of insulin resistance, pag nag-improve yung insulin resistance mo, the uric acid will also go down. Pwede rin because of the ketones. Kapag keto adapted ka na, eventually bababa na rin yung uric acid kasi mas ilalabas mo na rin siya sa katawan by urination.
Yes. What is your take in ashwagandha? I think Sir Giancarlo is asking based on the biohacking because nowadays there are many biohackers. They biohack using like mga supplements.
Ashwagandha,
Ashwagandha, it's actually more of, I think for the tawag dito, sleep, pwede din sa parang
antioxidant din ng ashwagandha. Kasama siya ng resveratrol. Even blood sugar.
Yes. But ang issue lang dito is what dose would be safe dose, I do not know. Personally like if there are studies you can also show us. But I have not gone too much pa ng research about the ashwagandha, but I've heard about ashwagandha. Some of the parang more of Ayurvedic kasi ang alam ko sa ashwagandha kasi I've been hearing ashwagandha as in Ayurveda, like Ayurvedic medicine. So, some says it could improve your mood, your sleep, pero some says na if the dose is not also good for you, you could also ignite agitation. So, sa akin kasi, for as long as I'm better na with my diet now, hindi pa ako dun sa part na parang I'm ready na to take other or some other supplements pa. Gusto ko muna ayusin, fix kung ano muna yung dapat i-fix before I can finally be adventurous about many other supplements as well. But as a disclaimer, I have not gone far pa with researching about supplements like ashwagandha and other supplements pa, especially yung mga sa biohacking and also with the Ayurvedic supplements. So, sabi dito, good evening, Doc Suzette, and to all low carbers. Meron na ito nakita ko kanina, sabi niya, miss na miss ka na daw niya. Pero parang nadaanan ko lang. Sabi niya, Doc Suzette, miss na talaga kita. Ayan, kaya nga nagla-live na si Doc Suzette kasi para hindi niyo na siya mamiss.
Para hindi niyo po ako hanapin, pero wala pa rin po akong clinic.
Ayan, sabi niya, hello lang, Doc Suzette, miss na talaga kita. Sabi niya. Di ba? And sabi dito, meron din dito, si Ma'am Elena, Di po, Dok, okay po kayong pareho. Yun lang talaga, di talaga maka-clean low carb minsan kapag wala sa Mami, hindi ka naman namin tinatakot. Doc, nakakabilib ang drive niyo to share the science that you know about proper human diet to many. So it's not hypertension related, but ano daw yung drive natin in doing so kahit paminsan bashing from colleagues ang balik sa inyo. I don't know. May basher pala ako. Hindi ko alam. I do not know. I do not know about the bashing, or maybe I don't listen because I was part of the bashing community before. Not really the bashing
Kung
in
sino
the back
binash
of my,
mo? Bakit ka ganun?
wala akong binash. Pero at the back of my head when I heard low
Hmm.
carb and keto before, I was also the same as other colleagues who thinks that ketogenic diet is bad, low carb is not good, it is not sustainable, it is not a proper diet. So, siguro nandun yung empathy ko na nung natutunan ko na yung low carb and ketogenic diet, I don't really listen too much about kung may basher or may critic because I've been there as well. So I kinda empathize with how they feel, but there's also part na praying na I hope they will be enlightened. Hindi lang para sa mga pasyente nila, kundi para sa kanila. Because reality is I've seen a lot of colleagues suffering from the same metabolic diseases. That is the reality. Some of our colleagues, physicians, healthcare professionals, nurses, other else, they are also suffering from metabolic diseases. So if they're saying that medication is really proven very, very effective, then they should have just taken all the medications that they're also prescribing their patient and let's see if this can also help them. Yun lang ang sa akin. So basically, if it does not help them as well, then I'm pretty sure it will not help the patients as well. So, diba? That's
What
true.
drives
Kasi
you?
what drives me in doing
Mhm.
so, kahit minsan may bashing, is because nag-benefit ako. It's very selfish for me to keep it all by myself because that was the initial goal before. I mean, ayoko mabash, so I'm just gonna keep it myself. I'll just be healthy. Pero ang pangit na healthy ako, tapos magpe-prescribe lang ako ng, kasi yun lang before, like kami ni Mike, parang, okay na, mag-low carb lang tayo. Tapos, maging doktor pa rin tayo or whatever. So, parang, tawag dito, makasarili, kumbaga na nag-benefit kami, tapos hindi din namin i-share sa iba. And ang kagandahan yan, ang balik ay maganda din, meaning we find fulfillment in prescribing medication sa patient. We find fulfillment in seeing patient na nag-improve. Although it's very, very hard. I'll tell you why. It's very, very hard because kapag paggamot kasi ang binigay nyo sa pasyente, ganito siya. Hindi nag-work yung gamot. You will just tell your patient, hindi na po tumatalab yung gamot sa inyo. So, asahan na lang po natin na magpa-progress yung sakit ninyo and we'll just wait until when. Kasi hindi na tumatalab yung gamot eh. But if you're doing, for example, low carb and ketogenic diet and managing the patient also, like a mixture of everything, parang lagi kang may tools. Ang kahirapan lang kasi niyan, Doc, dahil may kasamang diet na part. Masakit sa ulo kasi sometimes food, depending on how the patient would respond to food, may ina-expect ka minsan na effect and then hindi nangyayari yon. So, you will again try to look up for other ways. Kasi may mga pasyente din na ayaw pa nila mag-elimination. Hindi nila kaya. So, minsan, para maniwala sila, papayag ka muna sa gusto nila until sa siya mula silang makitang improvement. Then, saka pa lang sila papayag na, sige na nga, Dok, tanggalin na natin lahat. So, parang, di ba, sabi ko sa inyo, kasi 3 buwan na tayo, 6 months na tayo, wala pa rin nangyayari. Ayaw nyo pa rin kasing magbawas. Tapos sasabihin din nila sa'yo at the end of the day, Dok, okay lang sa akin. Tsatsagain ko, titiisin ko. Kung yan na lang talaga yung tanging paraan. Sabi ko, nung ko pa kasi sinasabi, ayaw mo din naman. So, parang ganun siya kahirap, guys. So, ikaw, Doc, ano yung nagda-drive sa'yo ngayon?
Kasi
Although alam
once
ko
you
wala ka
see
namang
it,
pakialam sa bashing.
wala talaga sa bashing, wala. Once you see it kasi, you cannot unsee. So, yung history ko kasi on the ketogenic diet journey is natutunan ko siya sa loob ng clinic. It was a lecture. So, nung nilecture siya ng isang consultant namin dito, diniscuss niya. And then, nung diniscuss niya, naging example siya. So, nakita ko yung weight loss journey niya. Tapos, habang dinidiscuss niya yung topic na yon. And, merong program doon sa obesity clinic namin na ginagawa ang ketogenic diet. So, nakita ko ang isang patient from a wheelchair na masyadong mataba, 130 plus kilos, na hindi siya makatayo, kailangan niya mag-wheelchair. And then doing the ketogenic diet, from wheelchair, naging isang tungkod, hanggang sa nakakapaglakad na siya ng sarili niya. Tapos, wala na siyang medications, na wala ang comorbidities, obstructive sleep apnea, hypertension, diabetes, from insulin to off medications. So, pag nakita mo yon that it is possible and there is real science behind it, hindi mo na siya maa-unsee kasi nakita mo you saw the process. So, bakit hindi mo siya might as well i-share? And marami na rin naman na akong naging patients na natanggalan ng insulin from 4-5 injections to oral medications, minsan wala na din. So, why not share it to other people and makapag-benefit din sila? So, hindi lang ako yung nagbe-benefit with my own practice, but at the same time, patients as well na nakapag-benefit. So, why not share it to all? For bashers, sorry, so, isnabera talaga ako sa personal tsaka sa social media. So,
isnabera siya sa hindi niya basher. So, how much more sa basher niya? Yun yung ibig niya sabihin. So, kung isnabera siya sa hindi niya basher, how much more sa basher niya? But basically, kwento ko lang sa inyo saglit. Ako kasi risk taker. Siguro, buti pa si Doc, parang na-introduce sa kanya yon na as lecture. Ako kasi parang pangangailangan ko talaga. Like, second floor, di ko na malakad. I am obese 1, tapos di na ako makahinga, tapos may GERD, may lahat-lahat na. So sabi ko, hindi nagwo-work. I have 2 nutritionists by my side. I have my husband, which is Doc Mike, and I have her sister-in-law. They provided me nutrition plan. So pwede ko nang sabihin sa inyo na hindi nag-work kasi low carb na rin naman si Bern. Kasi hindi ko yun masasabi dito. Baka magtampo siya kung hindi pa siya nag-low carb, but it did not work. Because the plan was still having like carbohydrate, it still triggers my food addiction. So I was like, alam mo Mike, it doesn't work. The so-called low-carb diet and keto diet has a lot of testimonies, although sabi ko sa kanya ganyan, parang nobody in our community would like to parang entertain the idea, entertain the knowledge. Pero I'm desperate. So, naintindihan ko yung mga pumupunta dito sa low-carb diet, Doc, na desperate din sila. Like, beyond what human can understand. Like, ako, dumating ako sa point na wala na akong pakialam kung sabihin yung hindi healthy o healthy. I'm so desperate. So, I cannot find any answer from what you so-called the standard. So, siguro, kailangan ko ring maging risk taker. So, pinayagan ako ni Mike na mag-take ng risk kasi nga hindi sila naniniwala sa low-carb diet. They're both nutritionists ni Bern. Pero pinayagan niya ako. And then she saw a big result sa akin. And then he also tried it out. He has dyslipidemia and a very high uric acid kahit sobrang payat ng frame niya that time. And he was on medication. Tinry niya yung diet. Not because nainggit siya sa akin, but he still wants to prove na baka sa akin nag-work and he wants to prove that I'm still wrong. Imagine. So, tinry niya yung diet with the intention na ipaulit yung laboratory result niya without medication after 3 months. Kasi he still wanted to prove that I'm wrong, na pwedeng ako ay weird lang as a person na nag-work sa akin yun. So, after that, gumanda yung result niya. So how can we now go back to the standard diet when we saw all the benefits and we experience all the benefits din sa sarili namin. So you cannot really unsee and unfeel. Unsee and unfeel.
You really cannot unsee. Lalo na kapag nasa clinic ka, nagpa-practice ka, nag-prescribe ka ng medication, tapos eventually, yung isang medication magiging 2, magiging 3, magiging insulin, tapos madadagdagan, manganganak na naman ng gamot for hypertension, 1, 2, tapos continuous na, nagmumultiply na lang sila. Not unlike kapag the patient follows the low-carb diet, keto diet talaga, isa-isa siyang nawawala. It may take some time, kasi depende yun sa adherence ng patient. Pero eventually, darating ka talaga sa time na kailangan mo siyang tanggalin, kailangan mo siyang i-prescribe. So, ganun siya. So, ayun.
And so, of course, hindi natin kayang sagutin na lahat, no? Pero may isa kasing pinakamahirap na question dito, Doc, na hindi ko din kayang sagutin. Ano daw ang topic next week?
Hindi ko. Merong ano, 'di ba?
May guest.
Ba yung may guest tayo next week?
Alam ko may guest tayo. Manghila tayo ng guest. So, kahit sinong guest, hilain natin. Pero basically, para ma-excite
we have a guest next week. Yep.
Yes. So, that's it, guys. Actually, lumagpas na kami, pero hindi ako umabot sa quota. Alam mo yan. Nag-alat ako ng 15 minutes na hindi aabot sa quota mo. Para lang masabi na nag-undertime.
Meron akong nakitang isang question.
Saan doon?
Ito, can a senior citizen do a carnivore diet?
Ay, saan doon? Saan siya?
Senior po, pwede po ba mag-carnivore? So, gusto kong sagutin to. Yes, pwede po mag-carnivore ang senior citizen, but, kailangan po ng guidance. Kasi especially if meron pong comorbidities, meron medications, kailangan nyo po ng assistance. Huwag po kayong bigla na lang mag-shift from the standard diet or high-carb diet, tapos bigla kayong mag-carnivore kasi pwede po kayong mahirapan dun sa pag-shift or dun sa transition. Especially po if meron kayong medications for diabetes and hypertension. Pero pwede po ang senior na mag-carnivore diet. Pwedeng unti-untiin yan. Pero kailangan nyo po ng assistance. So, wag po kayong basta-bastang mag-carnivore ng dire-diretso. So, to start with, tanggalin niyo po yung mga highly processed food. Palitan niyo po yung cooking oil ninyo. Ayan. So, yan kasi yung mga common.
Malaking bagay yun.
Oo, malaking bagay na yun sa pag-i-improve po ng health ninyo. Tapos, unti-untiin niyo pong tanggalin yung mga high carb na food na like bread and rice. Yan po yung common kasi sa ating mga Pilipino. Wag na po kayong magmerienda. Make sure na kada meal ninyo may protein sa pagkain, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Tapos remove the snacks. Makikita niyo po, mas mag-i-improve yung health ninyo. Basta po wag kayong magdidiretso into carnivore without assistance. Importante po yun.
Hindi niyo alam condition ninyo. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us in our live question and answer tonight. Although
I think
supposed to be
ang dami nating nasagot ngayong fee. So I would like to request you na i-share niyo po yung video na to. I-follow niyo yung page namin, Doctor's Desk, para po marami pong matuto from this episode. Kasi ang dami naming nasagot ni Fee na napaka-generous ni Fee ngayon. Kasi hindi lang hypertensive questions ang sinagot niya. Yung finlash niya. Halos lahat finlash niya actually. So,
may pahugot pa tayo, di ba?
Oo, dami pa niyang pahugot. So, I think this is because of the spirit of Christmas. Ayan, kaya i-take advantage niyo na. So, i-share niyo yung video na to and follow us and like us para mas maraming matuto. Diba? So, hindi lang natin sa ikip sa sarili natin.
And thank you guys for the support. we are happy na you've been supporting us along the way. Kahit na parang lately lang kami nag-start, and even if parang we're just doing live every Tuesday night. So thank you for always supporting us, for being with us for about 1 hour or 2 hours pa minsan nag-i-stay kayo, and it's a long parang duration ng live, pero you stay, and diyan namin na-realize na talagang marami sa inyo na sobrang sabik na sabik pa rin talagang matuto, and that inspires us a lot. Kung bakit kami nag stay din ng 2 hours, for example, or bakit kami nagpa-flash, for example, ng question ninyo, is because nakita namin na, oh my gosh, parang ang sakit naman na hindi natin i-flash, tapos naghihintay siya 2 hours kung kailan mabasa. Pero by this time, hindi na ho namin kayang isagutin pa yung iba. So, please stay tuned every 8 p.m. Ewan ko lang this coming Doki, kung pwede ka nang mas maaga, maybe we could do it. Or depende
watch
sa'yo.
out for the announcement.
Yes, watch out for the announcement, because basically magtatama na naman kami ng mga time, because we will be having the Simbang Gabi. So hindi ko alam kung anong time na naman kami pwede ni Doc Suset, kasi magkaiba kami ng time zone. But basically alam ko sa inyo, naintindihan din ninyo the Simbang Gabi. So yun lang. Thank you so much for watching. Please share. Please like, please follow. It's not actually too much to ask, but doon din kasi namin na-feel yung inspiration. It's not something na alam nyo yon, parang nakakatuwa lang na parang nag-grow din, at saka mas madami. Kung papansinin nyo, mas marami kaming nare-reach kapag mas marami rin kayo nagpa-patronize nung channel. So, hoping pag-pray natin si Doc Suset na nakagawa siya ng YouTube, tapos sipagin siya, ganyan.
I-pressure. Na, meron pa akong paano ba ako
tapos? I-pressure natin siya. Guys, please comment down YouTube, please, ganon. Doc Suset, YouTube, please, ganyan. So that mabombard natin siya, ganyan. Because may nagre-request na iba. Sorry din talaga, kasi nga hindi pala large screen, or parang yun, yung parang big screen ang Facebook. But yeah, again,
soon.
May mga requests, pwede natin i-note, like can we explain daw yung mga blood test, because hindi pa din natin to na tackle, no? Like I've seen a lot of people na nagpapa-blood test talaga sila, but they do not know what the blood test is all about. So yes, this is actually a good topic. Naisip ko siya, meron din ako naisip before sa page ko na ganito, Doc. Pero parang lagi siyang nawawala. But this is actually very significant.
Yeah, yes. You can request.
But we will not interpret the blood test for you. We will tell you what the blood test is all about, ano ang hinahanap. But we cannot give you what it signifies, kung mataas o mababa siya, because it should be clinically correlated. Meaning, kahit may reference range na sinabi yung laboratory result na pinakuha ninyo, meron po tayong tinatawag na 10 folds high, 3 folds high, gano'ng kataas. Kasi minsan kayo, grabe ka OA. Kunwari, 120,
nagpula
sabi niya.
Kasi sa dun sa result, may pula kasi pag puro pula, nakabahan na sila.
Kunwari lang, 110, 120, 121 yung result niya, tapos namula. Nag-anxiety, nag-BP na, taas na yung BP, nagkaroon na ng kung anik-anik, nervyos na.
Tapos magpapabook na sila sa'yo, yung schedule.
Ay, okay lang. Sige, kabahan na lang din kayo para magpabook kayo. Yeah, pero
kasi after 2 months pa daw.
Paano yun? Kabahan kayo 1 month para talagang high blood na kayo ng 1 buwan. Ganon yun. Diba? So basically, hindi kasi tayo nanggagamot ng laboratory. Okay, bago tayo magtapos, papaalalahanan namin kayo, hindi tayo nanggagamot ng laboratory, tao ang ginagamot natin. So, yun yung natin, yun yung tinitingnan natin. Yung laboratory will just aid the physician kung ano yung pwede pa niyang gawin, or i-aid niya yung physician para mag-guide din yung physician na kunwari kung madami siyang naiisip na sakit, medyo may mas patutunguhan. Pero hindi po yung di sana laboratory na lang agad, 'di ba? Parang gano'n. So basically
Tsaka,
hindi gano'n.
tsaka guys, remember we are on preventive side of medicine. So if meron kayong acute or immediate need for a doctor, definitely hindi kami yung kailangan ninyo. You seek help sa doctors ninyo, sa trusted doctors ninyo kung meron
Yes.
kayong immediate or urgent need. Pero
Yes.
if it's on a preventive side, you can approach fee for the moment, and then kung kailan ako available, hindi ko pa alam. So,
Yes. Oh, yan
still
na, di ba?
on study leave. Yes, I hear you. So, don't worry. Hopefully, magagawa rin yung YouTube, and yung mga previous episodes natin, ipopost natin doon para makita ninyo yung kagandahan namin ni Doc Fee on a large screen. Ayan.
Make it louder, guys. Charot.
Oh. Kasi, kailan ba nag-live yung beauty secrets? Di ba? O, tinago sa inyo ni Fee yun.
Wala. Sa ko lang yun ginawa. Sa carnivore peeps lang. Kasi ginigate
pasok daw kayo sa carnivore group. Pero, it's a carnivore. Hindi yun low carb. It's more strict. It's a more strict group. Pero if you want
you need badly needed.
You can pumasok kayo doon tapos mag-stock kayo doon sa mga post nila.
For curious.
Yung mga
ginigate ko kasi yung ginigate ko yung mga tallow cream kasi may pagkamadamot pa rin ako.
Baka daw kasi bilhin yung yung ginagamit ni Fina
baka kasi bilhin nyo ako na yung walang mabili. Ako na yung mga ilangan, wala na. So, yun lang guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. See you. Bye-bye. Good night.